All right, greetings, Camily.
Hey.
Welcome to Meet the Changemakers.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So tell me, why is it important for your skincare products to be sensorial?
Thank you for asking that. I think that's a really, really important question and a huge staple of Strange Bird. So, as a mental health professional, I'm actually an addictions counselor. I work at Pathways Bermuda. And a part of wellness is the ability to be mindful, to be well connected to your body, because sometimes stresses and traumas actually create these disconnections. So sensorial skincare and self-care was born out of the concept or philosophy that a huge part of wellness is the ability to connect with yourself. So I was really, really focused on not just developing skincare and self-care products that looked good or even smell good, but rather felt good. It felt good to use it. It felt good to engage in the ritual of mindfulness and self-care. So sensorial, that's the way that we do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And so Strange Bird,
Yes.
what's behind that name?
Oh my goodness. So you know what? I think it kind of speaks, there's two answers to that question. I think the sensorial element is really what separates us from a lot of other brands. Every product that we create has some type of sensory element. So our body washes might have Icelandic black sand or jojoba beads or something like that, that as you use it, it brings you into your senses. And I think that that's kind of strange. Like, it's different, it's unique, but I guess to give you the more traditional answer, my mom used to call me a strange bird when I was little. I think I was a little different. I was a little just peculiar in my own way. And I just decided to lean into that and just be like, you know what, why not do something that feels different and that is different, but also really represents something that I value and I hold dear to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how is that strangeness that your parents would identified with evolved into a strength?
That's a really good question. I think it really boils down to one, really starting to develop the confidence in individuality and uniqueness. I think sometimes when things are different, they are open to criticism or rejection or something like that. But in this way, I really wanted to focus on the benefit of something being different, being good for you, and not something that you need to kind of shy away from, that you can give yourself permission to explore things that are different, but in a way that prioritizes your emotional and psychological wellness. So I definitely gave myself permission to tap into my, I think, nerdy scientific side when it gets to, the formulations and the stuff like that, but also the very creative side, because there's a huge creative element that goes into Strange Bird, how I design the products, what I pick, all of that.
All right, so we're going to get into that.
Sure.
But for those of you who are watching, we're on our program, Meet the Changemaker, with Camily Lovell from Strange Bird. And she will be at the Living Green Expo on Sunday, November 23rd. It's at Botanical Gardens from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So she's here just telling us a bit about this business. So I can see that it brings you joy
Yeah.
to do this.
Yeah.
I can see the positive energy and inspiration just as we
you.
have this exchange. So tell everybody about Strange Bird. Like, how do you define the business and what are really like the products and services that you offer?
Absolutely. So Strange Bird was really born out of this desire to mix science, function, and art. I tell anybody who's willing to listen to the long, drawn-out story, it started in COVID, as many people's, I think, entrepreneurial journeys did. And it really started with candles. And I have respect for anybody who does candles because I absolutely hated it. And I was like, nope, not for me. But then I was like, I still had that desire to create, but in a way that was, I guess, a little non-traditional. And then also at that time, that's when I was really digging deep with a lot of my clients in their wellness. And I'm just like, you know what? I want people to be able to just engage with themselves, but almost in a way that they don't expect, or, something that doesn't necessarily require you to sit down with a journal and, journal for 5 minutes. Like, can't we just use our bodies as a means of connecting more deeply with ourselves?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's when I really started to, from a values perspective and a wellness perspective, say, hey, there's some way that I really want to combine these elements.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, that happening at the same time, I was experimenting with candles. And ironically, some ways that you make soap is similar to candles. So I kind of said, well, why not try soap? And that's where it started. It started off with bar soaps, and then people were like, oh, this is really nice. I didn't expect it. Do you do body wash? And then it evolved into facial wash. And then, so it's a whole line of products now, but that's where it all started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You mind sharing a bit more about
Sure.
variety in your line?
Yeah. From the body care perspectives, we have bar soaps right now. The collection that we have is made with goat's milk and olive oil. It's a really rich, creamy soap. We have body washes, and all of our body washes have that sensorial element. So that mild, gentle exfoliant. We have lotions, and after shower oil that's unscented, because some people prefer that option. And then from the facial care perspective, we have a cleanser with oat extract. We have different types of facial scrubs, charcoal, rose clay, French green clay. We have a plant-based jelly moisturizer, hyaluronic acid, toner, just a number of different really, really interesting options.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the things that is really important to mention is that it's a unisex brand. A lot of times when people think about beauty and self-care, it unfortunately kind of gets chalked up to something being feminine or innately woman. But really, Strange Bird wanted to focus on wellness for all. So one of the unique elements is that none of our scents actually have names. They just have numbers. And each number just has a brief description, and then you just let your senses lead you. Whatever scent feels good for you, that's the one that's for you.
So what has that been like for you, catering to the needs of man with your product? Do you find them open, or do you
You know what? I do. I think that once I ensure them that it's a safe place, and they try something, like, look, just try it. And if you don't like it, it's fine. I won't take offense to it. But it's really encouraging to see how men have taken on the idea of being able to invest in themselves in a way that's, shameless. And really, like, everybody has skin. It's not just women, right? So it's a skincare and self-care brand. Mm-hmm. And, I really do like to emphasize that wellness element.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you're finding that men are softening?
No, I wouldn't say softening, because I do respect that men sometimes feel comfortable in those more traditional or firmer roles, but rather recognizing that men deserve to be just as in touch with themselves as women have historically been taught to be. Mm-hmm. I find that a lot of my male clients, from the mental health perspective, sometimes struggle with that balance of, how can I support someone else if I'm admitting that everything's not going perfectly with me? So really just emphasizing the fact that, you can only be good to other people when you're good to yourself. Mm. And when you have, the ability to pour into other people because you have prioritized yourself.
Right. So you're helping everyone to see the value and invest in.
Absolutely. 100%. We all deserve that.
So just for clarity, these products, you're making these products?
Absolutely. Oh, yours truly. By hand.
By hand?
By hand.
Oh.
Yep. I have a whole studio that's set up to, do these different products, and all of them require, different functions and processes, but yeah.
And so evolving into that, is that something that took kind of specialized training, or did you find that it was more innate knowledge that you leaned on to?
I definitely took some time to prioritize being intentional about learning about formulations and crafting, ensuring that, it's not just my good intentions, right? Because these are products that people are putting on their face. So it's more than just good intentions, but really understanding the importance of the way that, different chemicals interact with each other, how to keep products safe. Bermuda's a very humid climate. So, preservatives, people have feelings about that. So how can I make sure that I'm upholding the trust with my customer base, but also ensuring that there's clarity and transparency about what's going in the products and how I'm keeping the community safe by fortifying the formulations. Yeah.
So with all of that in mind, what's your real connection with sustainability, or how does your kind of interest in sustainability, how is that incorporated into the way you develop your products?
Absolutely. So it's a huge thing. I think right now, when it comes to consumerism, there's this, social movement towards consumption and, fast fashions and, quick and easy things. When it comes to all of our plastic is multi-use plastic. I actually offer the ability for people to book refills. So they can actually book a refill to their home or something like that, and we can actually refill the bottles at different vendors markets or at delivery points. We can actually do bottle exchanges for our products that are in glassware. So there's definitely a huge recycling and reuse element to it. And then also really focusing on using nature and plant-based products as a means of developing skincare formulations that get results, but also, use nature for what it's worth. Yeah.
So what's your thoughts about the Living Green Expo and this whole mantra of living naturally and thinking sustainably?
I think it's really, really exciting. I'm glad that it's getting the exposure, and I'm glad that it's getting the time, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions that thinking or living green means off-grid. And that isn't, yes, that's a huge element. But for us who, have concerns about how that actually shows up in day-to-day life, it's not black and white. You don't have to have this huge jump. You can make these smaller changes in just the way that you prioritize where you go, how you shop, what companies you engage with, and really be able to contribute to the long-term wellness and sustainability of the island while still enjoying products. So, yeah.
Okay.
I'm really grateful.
So, and how do people get access to your products? And
excellent question. So we are fully online at strangebirdbermuda.com. And then strange.bird.bermuda on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people can order straight from social media.
You can order straight from our website. You can hit me up in the DMs and you can say, hey, this is what I want. Yeah, or different vendors markets. I have a vendor market calendar on my website, and people can meet me there. Yeah.
All right. And in terms of the creativity element, you talked about it's a lot of creativity that like, what inspires that creativity? Is it all from you, or is it like, are you studying certain things or looking at certain, are there other people in your family or your life that kind of contribute? What?
That's a really good question. Sometimes it's just, I guess, the roll of a die. I don't know. Yeah, I think I guess I just feel cold to certain things. And I'm intentional about trying to touch on the different profiles and different sensory experiences that people might be interested in. Also, because it's a unisex brand, I really wanted to ensure that I got perspective from people all across the spectrum of identity and orientation. And so I definitely focused on just making sure it was something that everybody could feel connected to.
All right. Yeah. And the experience of developing this, you said, it came through the pandemic. That's where you got the inspiration. You started off with candles.
Yeah, that was not a thing. Yeah.
But what has it been like since you kind of tapped into something that you're more passionate about? Has it been like all uphill, or have you hit some road bumps, or?
Yeah, I think It's really interesting that you asked that, because there was definitely a point where I was gonna be like, yeah, no more strange bird. I was gonna be done with it. I'm actually doing my doctorate right now, and when I first started it, I was like, oh, there's no way I could do both these things. But then, shout out to my brand manager, Corey at Bloom. I had a wonderful conversation with her, and she really made me realize that it was possible to do everything. And I think that that was just divine timing. So from there, I gave myself permission to try one more time. And it wasn't because it wasn't successful. I just think it was overwhelming, because once you get to a certain point, you have to ask for help.
Right.
So once I gave myself permission to dream a little bit bigger and ask for the help to get a little bit bigger, I was able to do it. So that was a fundamental lesson.
Give thanks.
Yes.
So when people come to the Living Green Expo, what can they expect to find?
They can expect a warm invitation into a mindful moment. We have a little sensorial station where they can test out the products, smell around, sniff around, feel around, see what they like, and just try something on for size.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah. Did you have any final words that you wanted to share with anyone about, using natural products? Or even anybody who may have ideas and feel a calling to be an entrepreneur. Any suggestions?
I would definitely say there are resources on the island. BEDC was a huge resource for myself when I was starting. I did the rocket pitch, but they have wonderful, the Ignite program, incubator,
Right.
something.
Yes.
Forgive me, BDC. I would say that they are an excellent resource, but then also recognizing, I think the essence of Strange Bird is that, individuality can be accepted, and that you don't have to do something mainstream to find your tribe and to find your audience. So give yourself permission to, be brave, put yourself out there a little bit, and you'll find your people.
All right. Well, give thanks, Camily.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for this interview.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Everyone, as Camily said, be brave, be courageous, move forward. And we're encouraging all of you to come out and enjoy the Living Green Expo on Sunday, November 23rd. It's at the Botanical Gardens. It's a host of activities, a huge vendor village full of all sorts of interesting people providing products and services that can help you live naturally and think sustainably on a day-to-day basis. So
Beautiful.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having
again,
me.
Camily. You guys have a good evening. Peace and love.